I'm ready. Sure.
I am recording.
Da, 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 da. We're just starting with the singing.
I think that's a good way to start. Jump right in.
Man,
and then
we
it's
should
done.
Change up the whole format and then just call it a day.
Boom! People's minds are blown
hey
right
guys.
now.
Yeah.
Don't worry, guys. You didn't miss anything. You didn't accidentally come in a few minutes in. We're just trying something new.
We're just trying something new. Was it successful? We don't know. Hey guys, welcome to Wingin It, the West Wing Podcast. My name is Andrea.
I'm
This
Sally.
is my friend Sally.
Hi.
And we are hello. We're going to talk about The West Wing, Season 2, Episode 11, which you might know as The Leadership Breakfast.
Yay.
Hooray! I had breakfast this morning and it was delicious.
It's an important meal. There's a lot going on in this episode.
Indeed.
A lot.
Very different from our last episode.
Yeah. Should we just jump? We need to jump right in. Should we start with the TikTok?
Yes, TikTok. So, now you might be like me, and I had no clue what the Leadership Breakfast was just by the name itself.
It's a very boring
name. The first
name.
scene came up, it's a very boring name for a very delightful episode.
Mm-hmm.
The first scene starts with Josh and Sam trying to make a fire in the mural room fireplace, which is hilarious. We'll come back to that. CJ is working on a seating chart for the leadership breakfast, which is basically just a meeting of the congressional leadership on both sides. And, oh yes, Toby has breakfast in preparation for this other breakfast. There's a lot of breakfasting going on in this episode. And he walks into a trap, a political trap that the chief of staff, played by Felicity Huffman, chief of staff for the Republican congressional leader, set for him. Mm-hmm. So it's very interesting. It's very fun, but not fun for Toby. And there's a big upset on TV, and Toby and CJ have a bunch of rank issues, and what else happens? I feel like those are the main things. Sam is floating an idea of possibly moving the press room across the street to the OEOB, which we all know how that's going to go.
Yeah.
And, oh yes, and then the Karen Cahill story, which we will definitely come back to, where Leo insulted Karen Cahill's shoes, so there becomes this long succession of trying to fix that social foible by having Josh take care of it, and then he passes it off to Sam, who then passes it off to Donna, and wouldn't you know it that everybody just drops the ball with this Karen Cahill, and they even dropped their underpants.
Aww.
It's just a funny way to loop that all together, and here we are, back at the leadership breakfast.
That was a good TikTok for a lot going on.
Yeah.
Where to even begin? Man. Well, I know where to begin.
The first
with
scene.
The opener.
Yes.
Which is it really might be my favorite opener in the whole show.
It's so funny.
It's so funny. So Sam and the heat is out, first of all, and Sam and Josh are trying to light a fire in the mural room.
Mm-hmm.
And
in the middle of the night.
About it is hilarious.
Yes, Sam's going on and on
mm-hmm.
about softwood versus hardwood and, like, which one to use.
He says, we're not burning, who does he say? We're not burning Benjamin Harris's cabin. And Sam's like, you know what? We might be. It was spruce.
It was spruce?
So funny. And at first, I almost made a note that was like, really? Like, would they be this dumb? Like, what, they're smart guys. They would probably think to check the flu. And then, after I made the note, I was like, no, I really buy that they would do this, actually. As out there as it is, it just...
Yeah.
It was just so
I
funny.
buy that they would do it. I don't know that normal people would do it.
Right.
But I love that the characters would. I really just wish we could play the whole audio of this entire scene. It's probably one of my favorite in the whole series.
It's
in terms
so
of a
great.
Comedic episode.
But if we have to pick, my favorite is when they ask Donna to get leaves. So we should drop that.
Yes, me too. That's what I was going to say. Okay, drop in.
Could you possibly get us some dried leaves?
Yeah, I'll just run out to the forest and be right back.
You know what? You think she was being sarcastic?
Yeah, I don't think she's getting the leaves.
Oh, it's so funny. This is another thing.
I don't think she's going to get
because like one of them is like, you know what, and then the other one's like, you think she was being sarcastic? The believability of it has to do with the fact that I think they would kind of egg each other on. That like I could just see one of them being like, we should just light a fire in the mule room, and the other like maybe on their own they wouldn't have done it, but they sort of just like nudged each other forward, like, oh, let's get some wood, like, oh, let's get some leaves, and it just spiraled.
They're so boyish. They're like little Boy Scouts.
Exactly.
Instead of being like these big political juggernauts, they're like little boys just trying to start a fire.
Which I have found is
So
true
funny.
to life with men and fire. They just like it. It's weird.
I'm okay with it. It's all fine.
So that is funny. Also, CJ's trying to figure out the seating for this breakfast.
And it's great. I loved the method that she used in terms of the little note cards on the stands.
Uh-huh.
I think people should do that more for their special events and their weddings and stuff like that.
Sure, yeah. The funny part being, I wish I had special events to do that for, but it's so funny when Toby comes in and he's like, you forgot somebody.
Da, da, da. She forgot the president. I thought she forgot herself or something. That's what I thought he was going to say.
No. The president.
And Ed and Larry are there.
Yeah, Ed and Larry are there, which in my notes I wrote Larry and Ed, and then I was like, wait, that felt weird. Because it's Ed and Larry.
Do you think they designed it?
Why it is. Huh?
Did they design it to be like Ed and Larry, like you don't know which one's which?
I'm not sure. Maybe so.
Because there was at one point where she actually asks them for their opinions, and neither one of them answer her at the same time. And I thought it was because they were trying to keep it vague.
Ambiguous?
It's kind of a joke.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
That is a good question.
Well,
we'll
people can tell us what they think.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I read it.
Yeah. So that's funny. And then Charlie has to go wake the president up when the smoke alarm goes off. The whole opener, I mean, we've already spent like 5 minutes on it, but it's so worth it. It's just hilarious.
Go watch it, guys.
Yeah. So this episode is very interesting for Toby, and we should just jump right in and talk about his whole story arc.
Ooh,
what did you think about it?
Okay, I thought a lot of things about it.
Okay.
One, I really liked Felicity Huffman, first of all, and Stark. Someone else on Twitter said they wish that we had more episodes with her.
Yeah.
As a character.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree. I think that would have been really fun.
I do too. She was great. She was fierce and yeah, she was just great.
Again, Toby with those like smart and sassy, powerful women. He just likes it.
Yep. I did make a note that I buy them because there's sort of an implication that like their relationship is something, but you know, like more than friendly. I don't know, but I buy them together, which I said the same thing about he and his ex-wife, and it's because we've talked about how like it's almost hard to imagine like what kind of woman Toby would be with, but it is this type of just strong and like I don't know. I buy them together for sure. They fit well. Except for, her screwing him over.
Yeah, and so the whole point is that Toby really wants to talk about the issues at this leadership breakfast rather than apparently what's on their agenda, which is just tiptoeing around things that they can't talk about because they're trying to have this bipartisan moment when really their agenda is basically them talking about the things that they already know that they agree on.
Right.
So it's more just like a parade rather than an actual productive meeting. And so Toby really, he's so well intentioned in this whole thing, which is why it sucks so bad later when he gets screwed over because he really wanted to make a difference and he walked totally right into this trap that she set for him.
I have the opposite opinion on it. I think Toby got exactly what was coming to him. But he was trying to do the right thing. Did I what?
He was trying to do the right thing.
Yeah, but the president and Leo, he was just trying to do too much. It is a photo op. It's a breakfast. It's an hour and a half to start the year. It's exactly all those things Leo said. Like, obviously, Leo and the president also want to make a difference. This is not the place to do it. And Toby was trying to do too much, and I just think he got what was coming to him. He got so... But I like the arc of it, because like at the beginning I was annoyed with him. I was like, Toby, stop. But then where it goes, like at the end when he's apologizing to Leo and he sort of is humbled again, I love the whole story, the whole arc. But I really do think he got what's coming to him. Because he got too power hungry, and he got not power hungry, but he got distracted, he got tunnel vision, and then he got screwed over, and like, he should have seen it coming. And I just thought it was, but you know, like, I agree to disagree. Like, I think it can be read the other way too, but I loved how it turned out. I liked, I mean, I've said this like 7 times now, but I just love the whole storyline, and I love it because I was so mad at him at the beginning. I was like, Toby, just stop it. Just leave it alone. Especially when he sold CJ out. I was like, no.
Yeah, it was not cool.
That was not cool.
But I think it would be different if he had known. Well, I guess she did tell him that CJ said no.
Yeah, and he said,
So,
CJ works for me. No, I mean, she does, but man.
Oh, yeah, and the moment where she said, are you going to order me to do that?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, do it. And I was like, oh, I don't like this.
So, I don't know. But I love on the flip side at the end when he tells Leo, you should know it could have been avoided at several points along the way if I'd listened to CJ. I liked that sort of, I mean, he came in there with his tail tucked, and it was just, I just loved it.
You love seeing Toby humbled.
Well, it's not even that, but I thought it fleshed out the story well. I did love seeing him humbled after he had been so whatever. I don't know. I liked it.
I know, but I know he was trying to do a lot at the breakfast. I get it. But he also has a valid point. You know, he's like, it's the taxpayers' pancakes.
Right.
I was like, I like that point. He was trying to do something. But
he was. And I think he's just frustrated because he feels like they haven't done anything. And then I think he's more frustrated because he knows it's almost time to talk about re-election. And then once he realizes like that the majority leader's going to run, then he's like, man, we really got to do stuff. And I don't know. So I understand where he was coming from. I think it was believable, and I think it was a human thing to do. I just, at the beginning, I was like, Toby, stop. But then the story went a good direction.
And he totally had his guard down with her because of this, like, previous relationship. So he didn't think about, like, saying that he was off the record, which, I don't know, does that even apply? Like, she's not a reporter, so you can't just say you're off the record with other people. Like,
I was kind of wondering about that, too, and, like, how, from a journalistic standpoint, do they often just quote people who, I guess, she had proven to be a reliable source? But it seems odd. Right. It almost seems like here's, because like in court, you can't testify to something that someone else says they heard. Like I couldn't get in the stand and say, well, Andrea told me that someone else said blah, blah, blah. And it seems like the same should be true for journalistic standards. But like, obviously I'm not a journalist, so I have no idea. If anybody knows, they can let us know. But it seems like as a journalist, you wouldn't be like, unless you really, really trusted this woman, which maybe they did, that you wouldn't accept her saying, well, Toby said. Or a senior aide told me, you would want to have that from the horse's mouth, even if it was anonymous. So I did think that was interesting.
Also, why wouldn't she just name Toby instead of a senior aide? Was it just because we wanted him to have to admit it? Like, do you think it was just a literary way so he could have that moment where he had to admit it? Or, because why wouldn't she just say, like, White House Communications Director Toby Ziegler said?
Maybe so. I think maybe adding a name to it would have changed like the story. I think it's probably rare that
it seemed bigger.
Yeah, that and then it would have seemed, because she wanted it to seem like the Democrats were like going behind someone's back and doing stuff. And if Toby had given them permission to say that it was Toby, then they might not have bought it, because then it wasn't deceptive, because she wanted it to look like the Democrats were ambushing them. And if the Democrats were in fact ambushing them, it's very unlikely that he would be like, yeah, just say Toby Ziegler said. So I think that could have had something to do with it. I think it's probably rare that they actually name. I feel like you hear like senior aide or like stuff like that a lot more than like, oh, Toby said or CJ said. So maybe that's it.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I did like the breakfast, not the one that we never actually see, but the breakfast with Toby and Anne.
Mm-hmm.
And she brings him syrup, Vermont syrup, or syrup from New Hampshire? President Bartlett was very up in arms about the type of syrup that they were going to be serving.
He wanted it to be New Hampshire, and it was Vermont. Right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. She brings him syrup, and then Toby was like, it was just very flirty, the whole breakfast. And then, again, another instance of a woman being demanding about a present. First it was Lori with her graduation, and she's like, where's my present? And now Anne was doing the same thing to Toby. She's like, well, where's my present?
Right.
For getting her promotion. And then she takes it back, which is fun. I've done, I get the energy of that. I would do that. But, again, another Sorkin recycled moment. We need to have a recycling segment with Sorkin.
We'll just play the Sorkinisms video every episode.
Okay.
I think, I agree with that.
Women really want presents.
That moment felt weird to me. But I liked everything else. I like going along with liking the character in general, I like their interactions. I like their banter. I sort of like that, as much as I hated the beginning of the Toby storyline, I sort of like that she, got him to drop his guard. It almost is she was just playing him, the whole time, pretty much. And I thought that, I don't know, I thought that was
you wish you could have played
interesting. No. I thought that was interesting, for sure. So, but it just, because I'm looking at my notes now, and Bartlett's saying, at one point they're arguing over, what to call something, and Bartlett says, I don't give a damn if they call it the Monroe Doctrine. And so it's once Bartlett has given, he has clearly shown, once President Bartlett has shown that he has a flippant attitude about it, Toby should drop it. But we know that that's how I feel all the time, so.
Yeah, that sometimes Toby takes on more, he cares more about it than the president allows himself to care for it, because he knows what's feasible in a certain span of time or in a certain political sphere.
Right.
Yeah, and so sometimes Toby will go around on a holy agenda, to try to make something happen.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I did like when he was talking to Leo, Toby, that is, talking to Leo, and he said, let's not faff around. I think I'm just going to start using that expression.
I wrote down that I have never heard anybody say that ever.
Me neither. Let's make it catch on, guys.
Okay.
# don't faff around.
I thought that was weird. So speaking of Leo, we can jump into the Karen Cahill storyline.
Oh my gosh, I love this storyline.
Did you? I liked it. I liked it enough. I didn't like how it started. I didn't really hate it, but the whole, he made a comment about her shoes, and she's upset, and he says, saying that I'd take her shoe shopping will sound feminine, blah, blah, blah. He could have made a comment about anything. I don't know. Just, you know me. It was just
I thought it, yeah.
It's just okay.
I liked it a lot.
She's upset that you made her comment about her shoes. But then I liked the entire rest of the storyline. I love that, nobody can gain their composure around this woman.
I know. I kind of wish that we could have met her at some point.
I know. I was thinking the same thing. Let's see this woman now, has such an effect on everyone. But when Leo's first bringing it up, it's so fun because Josh says, he says something what stupid thing did you say to Karen Cahill that I'm going to have to go kiss, whatever. And as soon as he says it, he says, you know what's surprising about that? I said that just 12 hours after you were very cool about me almost setting the building on fire.
Yeah.
That was really funny.
Oh, so great. And then so Josh farms it out to Sam.
Yep.
And Sam I like the fact that Sam and Donna had, a couple of different scenes together about this. Because they're not often paired together for more than, a quick line here or there. So I liked that one. And I also liked how strong Donna seemed in this episode in general. She just seemed so much more composed, obviously, until the very end, where she realized that she dropped her underwear at the exhibition, which I thought was, again, hysterical. But up until that point, I liked how strong and composed Donna seemed in this episode. Very comfortable and poised, more than in other episodes where she can seem more fanatical about a lot of things.
I agree. She did seem very composed is a great word for it. She seemed very composed. So there's the whole Sam storyline about the pool under the thing. I was very kind of about
the press
that.
room.
It made for some comic relief. Like, there were funny moments, but I don't know. I was just kind of, I was indifferent about it.
It reminds me of the movie It's a Wonderful Life, where don't they have like a pool underneath a dance floor, and then you can open it. I'm always afraid, or I've always wanted to have a dance floor on top of a pool.
I was like, are you always afraid that like your dance floors are going to open into pools? Is that?
Sometimes I have thought about it at different occasions. No, but I also liked the storyline because it just showed how quickly they move. Because Sam brings it up to Josh, and Josh said, like, the poll hasn't gone out yet, but it's about to. So he has Donna call up the guy, and he just adds on a question really quickly. There's not this, like, long pipeline process, because they don't have the time for that. So
right.
I just liked that as an example of, like, how fast they move.
Mm-hmm.
I dig it.
Yeah,
cool.
I agree with that. I think it's, well, and it's another example. CJ sort of gets undercut on that one, too. So it was just a rough episode for CJ. But,
oh, sorry.
Yeah, poor CJ. She holds her own.
But she does hold her own, and even at the very beginning, Sam has to give her a note. Was that in this episode? Or was that in the one before?
That was the one before. I'm pretty sure that was about the energy secretary thing that we didn't talk about.
Oh, just kidding. No worries. But CJ's great all the time. But she is watching. So there was a lot of tension with CJ and Toby. So when they finally get to I can't speak today. But they finally get to the scene where they have the press conference on the hill, and she's just watching like a hawk because she knows that something's going to happen. And
yeah, I
just love how clearly it shows that this is all just a big game of chess. Like, there's strategy to all of this.
When she is sort of trying to, you can see as soon as they're watching the press conference, and as soon as the guy says something about the majority leader having a sore throat, you can just immediately see like the wheels turning in her head. She's like, why? Mm-hmm. There's some sort of reason, something's happening, and then she's like, we're about to get hit. And it was cool to watch her sort of, she's like, why would he do that? She doesn't want power, and she's trying to like figure this out. She's thinking out loud, and I just really like that. It's like, yeah, it's like you said, that it's all a game of chess, that like these tiny things, like, oh, the majority leader has a sore throat, that actually means something huge, and it's big repercussions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, and this is another, we really need to just brand this, but like the Recycle Sorkin. This is another moment that's recycled in season 7, if people actually watched it past season 4, where somebody has a cold and they can't show up or something, and they use it as an opportunity to talk about healthcare. The cold is what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
Is what I'm referring to.
Yeah. Mr. Sorkin recycling. Okay, wait. Now I'm looking through my notes, and we maybe left the Karen Cahill storyline a little soon, because there are other things that I love about it. I love when Sam is asking Donna to go, and he says, like, he's giving her, like, what to say, and he says something like, oh, Sam Seaborn's being so cute. He's running around, like, saying, oh, I said Kazakhstan when I meant Kazakhstan, and whatever. He says, and Donna's like, Sam Seaborn's being so cute, and he's like, would it kill you? She said, no. But that whole scene is really funny.
I know. Actually, I want to play, I think the audio clip of Donna realizing what just happened.
Okay.
First of all, it starts with the whole, like, Josh asking what's in the package that arrived. She's like, wait, damn, my x-ray vision isn't working today.
Yes.
So she's all confident and she's funny. And then immediately when Josh comes back I just need to play this audio clip of them telling her what happened.
Josh, this was delivered by messenger.
What is it?
It's, wait, no, damn, my x-ray vision is failing me today.
How'd it go?
Last night?
Did you talk to her?
Yes, I did, and I explained that you might have said Kyrgyzstan when, of course, you meant Kazakhstan.
Did you say how it was cute the way I worried about it?
I did.
Did it turn out I got it wrong?
She said she wasn't really listening while you were talking.
Okay.
I, on the other hand, had a most stimulating conversation with her. It was pithy, it was erudite, and most of all, it required no next-day follow-up explanation.
Donna?
What was in the envelope?
Your underwear.
What?
I'm holding your underwear in my hand right now. And the way I know it's your underwear is is that your name is sewn in the back, which obviously we'll spend some time talking about at a later date.
How did you get my underwear?
Donna, did you by any chance wear the same pair of pants 2 days in a row this week?
No.
Donna.
Yes?
Okay. When you got dressed on day 2, did you check the pant leg for the previous day's underwear?
I don't need to check the pant leg.
Donna.
They fell out of my pants?
It would appear that way.
Where?
The South Street exhibit.
Where?
On the floor in front of Karen Cahill.
Please tell me she's not the one.
She sent a note.
I mean, it's so good.
Hilarious.
Oh, Donna.
It's
That's
so
a rough
funny.
day, girl.
Yeah, and he says the thing about, like, you have your name sewn into it, which obviously we'll talk about at a later date or something like that. So funny.
Do people do that? Like, who actually does
I don't know.
that?
That's what I
Other
was
than Marty
wondering.
McFly in Back to the Future.
Right. Yeah, I don't love that. There's so much else going on in this episode. Oh, right after that scene, CJ walks by and says, "Fred and Ethel, will you follow me, please?" And she's making a reference to I Love Lucy. I thought it was odd that she called them Fred and Ethel. Like, I think that Lucy and Ethel would have been funnier because they're more like co-conspirator, like, you know, Fred
That's
doesn't really
true.
do as much.
Fred
I
doesn't
think
do
Lucy
anything.
and Ethel would have been funnier because it's like, you know, like you two goofballs who are always in cahoots. Come with me.
Yeah, guys, I Love Lucy is a show from the 50s. Or 60s, maybe. I don't remember.
I don't remember. You don't remember?
Oh. I don't. But I did watch it when I was little. They also make a reference to West Side Story. If we're going to go all, Gilmore Girls sort of pop culture references.
Did they?
Because President Bartlett says he doesn't want to be Officer Krupke in this discussion.
Oh,
Which is
interesting.
West Side Story.
Yeah. That's
Play
interesting.
cool, boys.
So that was
cool.
just a tiny, tiny note. And
Leo also says to Margaret when she was like trying to back up Toby or Sam in something, and she gives him the answer, and Leo just says to Margaret, "I keep meaning to fire you."
oh, Margaret.
Poor Margaret. She's so wonderful.
I didn't like that Donna had Charlie ask the president to talk to Karen Cahill because it's been trickling down this whole time. So, like, why would she then go straight to and it just, Donna would know better than to do that. Like, she would, I don't know, like, it sort of rings true to Donna in some ways, but at the same time, it seems like something she would talk about. It seems like something she would say, "Do you think I should ask the president to da-da-da?" And Josh would say, "No." It doesn't seem like something she would follow through with.
True. However, think about how mortifying that would be if that actually happened to you in real life.
It would be so mortifying, but would it not be more mortifying to have the president talk about it to someone?
Oh,
I would
gosh.
just want to
No, that's
pretend.
definitely worse.
Yeah, I would just want to pretend like it didn't happen ever.
At the same time, I don't know, like, do you think Charlie just Charlie could have stopped that whole thing from getting to the president's desk?
Yeah,
Do you think
Charlie
he just did
also.
that for comedic relief?
Maybe so, yeah.
Just be like, you just need something funny to laugh about today, so here's Donna and everybody being an idiot around Karen Cahill.
Yeah, I don't know. Speaking of Charlie, there's a couple of moments here where President Bartlett says to Charlie, like, "Remind me to blah, 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 or remind me to do this." And I was like, how great would it be to literally have someone that follows you around all the time that you can just say, like, "Remind me to buy a creamer at the store," or whatever it might be. Like, just, I mean, I guess I have Siri, but, you know.
I use the reminders app on my phone multiple times a day.
Do you?
My memory is almost completely shot. Yeah, I use it all the time. It's not as good as Charlie. I mean, if I could have Dule Hill be like my assistant and we would just remember to do things and be super productive, obviously that's preferred. But until that happens, I suppose Siri will have to do.
Yeah. So there are a few, like, sort of, I don't know what to call this, but there are a few just interesting things in this episode. One being when they're very first talking in the Oval Office in, like, one of the early scenes where they're talking about, they reference the whole fire thing, and Bartlett's like, "I had to be outside on the balcony in my underwear, blah, blah, blah." In that scene, you can see out of Bartlett's window, and it's got, like, a landscape, which it usually does. Like, we can usually see out his window, but you usually can't really see anything. But in this one, there's some sort of landscape in the background, and it looks terrible. It is very bad. It is very blatantly fake.
honestly, I was watching some later West Wing episodes, like season 4 this weekend, just to kind of mix it up. And I was watching some scenes that take place in the residence, and it looked so much like a set, which I know it is, but it looked very much like a set.
And I don't remember it always being like that. Like, we see the Oval Office all the time, and I don't always think, oh, that looks fake. Usually it's just at least, like, subtle enough that I don't think about it at all. I think that's what they should go
residence for me. And not even the residence, it's just that little room outside of the bedroom. Because the bedroom looks normal, but it's that scene with the giant windows. Like, we're watching Friends with the giant windows. Like, that's not real.
There's a shot where Leo's talking in his office once where they talk about, no, they're not, I don't know what they're talking about, but in the background, Leo's computer, like, screensaver changes. It's like one of those, like, rotating pictures, and so it draws my attention to the computer, and the computer's so dated and funny. That was just funny to see. I mean, we see that all the time, but the screensaver changed, so I immediately looked at that. And then the other thing is Charlie hands President Bartlett a piece of paper with Sam's remarks on it. And you can see through, there's light coming from behind him, so you can see through the paper. You can't read it, but you can see the lines on the paper. And it is formatted so strangely. And it's like, I shouldn't have been paying attention to it, but that's why it was odd, because they're usually these things you don't really notice because there's so much else going on. But all 3 of those things, my eye was, like, drawn to it in this episode. And that was odd. I was like, is he reading the script? Like, I didn't know what he was looking at, but it was not remarks, and it was distracting for me. So.
It was probably the actual script for the episode.
Yeah.
I was trying to sneak it in. Cliff notes, you know.
So, let me just keep going about what bugs me and what I would have done differently.
Okay, cool. The things that I really did like that were notable, Toby and Leo have this moment where they're talking about their ex-wives.
Yeah.
About how, like, things that they couldn't talk about in their marriages.
Mm-hmm.
And then Leo just says, like, basically, yeah, like, same thing. And we didn't talk about why we couldn't live together because we loved each other and it was awful and we knew it was never going to change, ever.
Yeah.
Man, talk about, like, a super vulnerable, like, bro bonding moment.
Really?
We rarely see that.
I wrote that line down, too, because it was very powerful. It's very sad and very honest. And he was just sort of like, yeah, you can't talk about it because it's hard to talk about it because it sucks. Like, there's a reason you could talk about anything except that. Yeah, that was intense and emotional. I really liked that also.
So. What else? Other notable quotables. One of them from Leo. I think you've mentioned this in another episode before. The whole, like, we can't put a fork full of waffles in our mouth without coughing up the ball.
Yeah.
So the year is less than a week old, and they're losing it. Yep,
not good. And another thing I like, the episode ends with Leo and Toby, and I talked about this a little bit earlier when I like that Toby comes with his tail tucked. But other than that, I just like the scene in general where they're talking about re-election and they're like, it's like time to get real about it. And they shake hands and they formed the committee. I just thought that was a good scene. It was also interesting because right before that, Toby's like waiting to talk to the president and he sees the president walk by and you can just tell how like bummed out he is that the president wasn't going to see him. That was really good.
He ducked the meeting, which he doesn't normally do.
Yep. So.
Yeah, I think those are the main things. CJ, I mean, what are the odds that one of the people in the press corps were called about the polling, about moving the press room? So
but literally, what are the odds? They said, like, what are the odds? And Josh goes, we could calculate it. And they start, like, doing math to figure it out. That was hilarious. That was really funny.
CJ's like, would the two of you stop being amazed by the mathematics? There's also a great moment where Josh does compliment CJ for not saying "I told you so." But I want to play it. It's like the shortest little clip, but just I can't do the inflection justice of Josh's response.
You had a lot of opportunities today to say "I told you so" and score some points with Leo. You're a class act.
Why were you holding women's underwear before?
needed a reason.
It was just, oh, Josh, we just thought it was great.
Yep. Glad to see him being
yeah.
comedic again. So, all right, do we have an
Yes.
MVP?
Oh, heavens to Betsy. Well, I mean, it's a Toby episode. I mean, should we give it to Ann Stark?
I think we should give one to Ann Stark. I think mine might be CJ. I think she sort of owns this episode. Because she like takes on Toby, but like she also like she doesn't get too mad at him, or I mean it's the same thing. Like nobody listens to her in this episode, but she's right on every account. So I like that she sort of held her composure and like did her business, even though everyone was sort of going against what she said.
Indeed, yes. I mean,
so that's mine.
Give it to
but
Toby.
You could do Toby. Right?
I'm gonna give one to Toby. I think.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Fair
that's
enough.
it for that one.
The leadership breakfast. Hooray!
That was a good episode. I like that one.
It's a rewatcher for me. Now that I remember which one it is. If I had somebody who hadn't really watched The West Wing, I wouldn't never start them mid-series, but if I had to, I would probably pick something like this.
Yeah, it's a good one because there's drama, there's stuff going on, but there's comedy, and it was good, so.
Yes. Oh, so if you guys have thoughts, feelings, or questions about things we missed, or things, just anything in general, you guys can always email us at TheWestWingPodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Or you can hit us up on Twitter or Instagram at WinginItPod. We're also on Facebook. We just made a Facebook page, guys. It's 2015, and we still just made a Facebook page like last week, and it's also at WinginItPod. So hit us up.
Hit us up. We like hearing from you.
We do. It's delightful.
So.
All right. Well, we'll see you, talk to you, hear from you in episode 12. Do we know what episode 12 is?
It is. It is the drop-in.
Ooh.
Or I do know it is the drop-in. Yeah.
Cool.
So.
All right.
All right.
We'll catch y'all later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.